Hey y'all, welcome back. Welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be exploring the idea of raisin makeup. So the first thing I want to do is get out a palette and some mixing tools, which I have, and we're going to explore raisin using this as our baseline. So this is Rituel de Fee's Inner Glow Cream Pigment in the shade Lust. I am sure that by the time this year is over, I will have completely panned this just because I've been using so much of it as a color experiment as opposed to a face cosmetic. So this is where we're getting our baseline. We're going to use, I have two of the Salt New York shade mixers. These are both white. One is in the lip and cheek formula and the other is in the Cream Tint Pro. So these are the color adjusters from Salt New York and they're fantastic. I also have I have two of the Hindash Ultra Matte Color Fluids. This one is in Thorn and Canvas. So we have a deepening shade and a lightening shade. I've also been mixing it with the Auric Glow Lust. This has a very strong base pigment that does in fact show us a lot of the color variations that you can get just by mixing these two together. So we're going to do that. It's going to be messy. It's going to be fun. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's break this down. I want to use just these two for the time being, and then we'll get in with some of the deeper shades and the lightning shades, and we'll really actually get in and play with it. I'm going to scrape up a little bit of this. It's so dense and richly pigmented that it is the perfect product for this kind of a thought experiment. So let's take a look at it just on a palette without mixing it with anything. Ooh, there's my ring light. Oy, setting up today was a mess. Anyway, we got there. So this is the color on my skin. And I think that's important. That's an important place to start. So you see how it goes on really dark right off the spatula. And then when you thin it out, you really do get all of those variations. You get the lightness, you get a little bit of depth clinging to the scratch on the back of my hand. But what happens to this when we use something like the Auric to lighten it? And the nice thing about the Auric is it's got a lot of, I believe glycerin, I don't know, it's got something in there that really helps these pigments mix. It does add some shine. So right now I think we need to ignore the glossiness and just look at the color. You can see now it's got some beige, it's got some plum. You can really, really sheer it out to this almost old gum color. It's not as, it's a little more murky. It's not as green, but this is the joy of something like this. You can start with a really deep shade and lighten it to something really usable and friendly on the skin if you're going for something lighter. Okay, let's take a look at this on the palette. Probably going to zoom this in anyway. Take a look at this off the palette. Now that we've looked at it on the skin, I want to really see where we can get with this using different mixing techniques. I'm going to do a little bit of canvas. I really wish I had like a painting spatula. This just doesn't seem to do the job as well, so I'm going to use my fingers. We're going to use the Glow Lust over here. pull in more as needed, and we can really pull out that color, that very basic beigey, plummy, neutral. So this is just mixing it with tones of beige, which is bringing out the lighter tones, but it's not really adjusting the color. All we're doing is pulling out the light and the dark. So that tone right in the middle is going to be the deepest. And then you can see as we work around it, we've got all of these kind of gunky purpley tones, but they all start from that color right there in the middle. So when I talk about raisin, I can mean anything from this or darker. Let's mix this with a little bit of thorn and see what we get with that. And then we will actually start swatching. I have pulled out a bunch of products from my collection that I think work in the raisin makeup category. We're going to swatch them, we're going to do some comparisons, and we're just going to play in makeup today. That is what I need to do today, is just some good old-fashioned playtime. All right, so there's a good helping of thorn, and we're just going to mix this all together. We're going to go over this lighter guy because I need the real estate. I might add a little bit more of lust to this because it does seem to be, I added too much thorn and now it is a mess. It is nice seeing this fresh pan get all gunked up. I absolutely love it. I love seeing my makeup used and getting all filthy. It's fun. It means that my stuff has been well loved. So here we have the light, the medium, the deep. And granted, these are not the only tones. There are going to be tones that are more blue. There are going to be tones that are more purple. There are going to be tones that are more brown. But as long as they kind of fill into this gunky, beigey, purpley category, I think we can count them as raisin makeup. Let's jump in. I'm excited. I'm going to keep this out for reference, but I'm going to put away the rest of the mixers. Box of raisin makeup. Oh goodness. So this has been sitting on my desk for a while and I have been playing and swatching, and today we're going to talk about face products, lip products, eye products. So this is going to stay here for reference. And I think what I need to do is swatch some things that I know fall into this category. So we'll pull out Glossier Storm. I'll pull out my two blushes from Make Beauty. Here is a blush from Pat McGrath. I have some cream products from Salt New York. Some of these are raisin and some of them aren't. It's just what's in the palette. And then I have this blush from Charlotte Tilbury. Let's start with these because these are balms and they'll be really easy to clean. Alrighty, the three blushes that I pulled from Salt New York: Spice, Wine, Cocoa. These are the three that I know fit this category. This is a palette of newer blushes from Salt New York, and honestly, that one, and possibly that one. I don't know. We'll take a look. So we've got Sunburnt, Mauve, and Maple. So I'm looking at these compared to the ones that I pulled out earlier, and I do feel like they fit into this category, but they're more desaturated. They're going to be lighter in tones and have less saturation. So let's just go ahead and swatch these. So Cocoa. It looks so different swatched. It just looks much more brown on my face, and I have a hard relationship with this product. It and I have not necessarily hit it off the way other people have. I don't know what's going on, but it is a beautiful tone. And if we compare it to our base, I would say it's a little warmer, but it's definitely in the neighborhood. Let's swatch the rest of these and then we'll do some comparisons. Oh, wine, oh, there we go. Just needed a little warming up. This one may not be in its best shape. It's a little chunky. Here we have maple, mauve or mauve. I'm really working to build up these swatches so we can see the color. This is not necessarily how they appear on the cheeks. You can really build them up, or you can lay them down nice and sheer. They're not terribly long wearing because they are a balm, but they're not designed to be long wearing. And this is sunburnt. Okay, let's chat. So what I'm seeing here, if we pull in our comparison, sunburnt is a little bit too orange. It just doesn't have that ruddy purple undertone that we want our raisins to have. Mauve, I don't know. I feel like mauve is even a little too blue. If we're going for tone comparison, I feel like mauve is a little bit too bright and a little bit too purple. It's this swatch right here. Moving down to maple, yeah, maple has all the raisin in it and is beautiful. So does wine, or not wine. What is this? Spice. I have a brand new pan of this. I suppose I should chuck this old one and get the new one out. Wine, I'm gonna say, has too much red. It's got too much red for this category. I'm sure it falls somewhere in that spectrum, but it's not what we're looking for. And then cocoa. I feel like cocoa does actually fit into this category. It's just a little bit more beige. It's got a little bit more beige and maybe a hint more pink. What is this? This is mauve. So mauve is going to go back. And we have these three beauties that do fit. Look at that. Look at how pretty all those are. I love color experiments. Let me know what other colors you guys want to see dissected this way, because this is a really fun way to use my makeup. It's a fun way to go through my collection and pull things out. All right, I'm going to put my 3 Raisin in this palette. It's so interesting to me that cocoa fell into this raisin category, and it's a blush that I have a really hard time with. Okay, let's do these guys. I know that Storm from Glossier fits into this. It's I believe this and Dusk were the only 2 cloud paints I kept in my recent declutter, which is funny because they were the first 2 I bought. And one of my favorite things to do with them is to mix them together to get this beautiful beigey, mucky raisin color. Charlotte Tilbury, this is the Matte Beauty Blush Wand in Pillow Talk. This is a mini. And you know what? I like having a mini. I like knowing that there's enough product here I can finish it without it feeling overwhelming. Wow. Wow. Okay. Look at that. Look at how similar those are once they're sheared out. That I did not expect. That's that's remarkable, because upon first blush, you would not assume that these would be similar at all. Just because we talk about how desaturated the Charlotte Tilbury is and how pigmented and hard to work with the cloud paints are. I want to start with Celestial Rose because this is my mucky, raisiny powder blush. This is from Make Beauty, so I will try to remember to link that. There is Celestial Rose. Let's build that up a bit. It's definitely in this category. I also have Mystic Mauve. I am learning that things labeled mauve have a little bit too much blue or purple to really get that like gunky depth. Yeah, you can see comparatively, if we put this up next to our color, it's too blue. It's too blue. So you unfortunately are not Raisin, but you are still beautiful and I love you very much. I am not kicking you out of the family. Another blush I pulled is Pat McGrath Flirtatious. I mean, if this isn't Raisin, then my name is not Rachel. My name is Rachel. I don't know if I've ever actually introduced myself. My name is Rachel, and I love makeup, and I love raisins. Now I'm really hungry. I want a bowl of oatmeal with raisins and some brown sugar. So there we have Flirtatious. It's much lighter and much more desaturated, but it is a raisin color. It's very, very raisin. She's very, very pretty, and she can stay. I mean, these are all staying. None of these are going anywhere. We're just playing. We're playing. Okay, I have maybe some curveballs and maybe some really interesting ideas here. So first we have RMS Hanky Panky. I don't immediately think of this as Raisin. I think of it as like a blue, shifty purple blush. But what if it is? I would say it's a little warmer than the swatches we have in front of us, but it does have that beigey, dingy undertone that we want. And that I very much like. And I love this blush in general. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. This is a highlighter from Copacetic Cosmetics, and I pulled it out because it's got this beigey undertone. And I thought, why not try it? I would say as a desaturated raisin tone, just like Flirtatious, it does in fact fit into this category. That's exciting. I didn't think this would. Oh, little paw print highlighter fits into the raisin category. That's fun. Bare Minerals Kiss of Mauve. I might have to pull out Kiss of Rose if I can find it. Okay. Here is the thing about this blush. I would not equate this to a mauve. I would equate this more to a rose or a neutral brown. I also don't know that it fits into our raisin category. It might, I think it's got too much pink. We need a little bit more dinge. We need a little bit more grubbiness for this really to be something that fits into the raisin category. And this just doesn't, which is sad, but it's still a beautiful blush. Okay, so I have pulled out the Bare Minerals Bronzer in Kiss of Rose. We're gonna give this a whirl. I do not think this is raisin. I think it's got too much, oh, although, yeah, it's too pink. It needs more brown, it needs more beige. It needs the dinge, the dinginess. Milani, this surprised the ever loving hell out of me when I bought it. I had a buy one get one, and I was like, okay, this looks like a very desaturated tone and pan, and it is. It's very desaturated. It surprises me. I think it can fit into the family. It's maybe got just a tinge more pink to it than necessarily, the rest of these raisiny tones. But just like Kiss of Mauve fits in, I think this can fit. All right, let's move on to the next bunch of products because we've got some interesting stuff coming up. Okay, I took off my big chunky purple ring. It's beautiful, but it was in the way. Here we have a veritable feast of products from indie brands. And I'm always excited when an indie brand comes out with something that just makes me want to stick my fingers in it. Let's do phytosurgeons first. Excuse you. Here we have two blushes from phytosurgeons. We have Sublimate and Fume. Fume is the one that I know is going to fit into this category. Sublimate is a bit of an outlier. So let's swatch her first and see. This is that really soft, melty, liquidy, super pigmented formula. You don't want to get too much. Oh, the way the light shines on it, it's so pretty. What do we think, Sublimate? Are you raisin or are you terracotta or are you both? Ooh, I should do terracotta next. I have so much terracotta makeup. I think this fits. It's got a little bit of purple. It's got a lot of brown and it's got a lot of pink. But I think it does fit into this general category. Fume. Fume is another one that is kind of that purpley beige, but it's got more beige than Sublimate does. All right, I pulled all three. I pulled all three of the brown blushes from Khaki Reviews Beauty's collab with Finding Ferdinand. I just pulled the browns because obviously the corals aren't going to have the undertones that we're looking for. But look at Macchiato. Oh, I love it so much. I just want to dive headfirst into that pot of cream blush. It's so pretty. I keep saying that, but it doesn't mean it's not true. It just means I need other words. It's very appealing. Ooh, but I do not believe that this one fills the brief. I don't believe it fits the brief. I think it's too red. It's too red. Beautiful blush. I love wearing it. Olay, I don't know. I love the formula of these blushes. It's smooth, it's creamy. Unlike the phytosurgeons, you can really roll your finger in there and you're not going to pick up too much. It's actually going to tell you how much it's willing to pick up. I don't think Olay fits either. And by that, I mean Olay, not Olay. They sound similar in my Midwestern accent. I don't think this one doesn't fit either. The one that I do think is going to fit is Latte because it has that desaturated tone, but it might still be too warm. Let's see. No, I think it's too warm still. It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't have enough dinginess. It needs more gray, it needs more brown, it needs a little bit more purple. However, these two very much do fill the brief. So these are going to go in the Make Beauty, what is this? Serum balms. The serum balms for Make Beauty, I don't know if these fit into the raisin category, but they are lovely, lovely lip products. Here we have Lilac Layer, which does promote itself as being lilac, so a shade of purple. But I'm also wondering if it might not have some raisininess to it. It's got a little bit, but I think it is still just too purple. It has too much blue and not enough beige. Here we have two of the Serum Balm Intense. I have Magnetic Mauve and Berry Moon. Let's do Magnetic Mauve first. Again, this one advertises itself as a mauve. I think we have kind of formulated here that a mauve is going to have more blue than the raisin tones that we want. We want more gray and brown. But it doesn't hurt to swatch it. So Magnetic Mauve, ooh, once you start to shear that out, yeah, that it's on the purple side, it's on the blue side, but it's got that beige tone and it's got that blue. It's got a little blue, but it's got that beige and that muckiness that I want for something that I'm calling raisin or sultana if you are across the pond. This is the Serum Balm Intense in Berry Moon. This is dark. This is deep. And it's raisin. Oh my goodness. I didn't think that this one was going to be, but it at first glance it does appear to be raisiny, but once it settles and you can see the true color, it's got too much red. It has too much red and a little bit, it's too purple. It's too purple. So it has too much red, too much blue, not enough beige, not enough dinginess. So Magnetic Mauve and Lilac Layer are not, or Berry Moon and Lilac Layer are not raisin, but Magnetic Mauve is. Always good information to have. Okay, what's next? Let's do lip and eye products. I want to save anything that has shimmer or glitter for the end. So these are all of the red to reddish brown to purple to berry tones that I pulled out of my eyeshadows, my eyeliners, my lip products. Anything that I could think of that would fit into this category, I pulled. I did a little bit of pre-swatching, but it's not, I do not have final decisions made as to what fits into this category. Okay, so I pulled out all of the lip products that might fit into this category, and we're just gonna swatch. We're gonna swatch and we're gonna talk and we're gonna do some comparisons. This is MAC. I think this is the Cream Sheen formula in the shade Modesty. I think the best way to go about this is to swatch and then compare. This is one of the About Face Cherry Pick lip butters in Kiwi Fuzz. I'm sorry, Velvet Matte Lip Pencil in the shade Bahama. That really makes me want to sing the Beach Boys, but I'm not going to. Bahama. Oh, Jiminy Christmas. This is one of the NARS After Something lipsticks. I can't read the bottom. It's too small. It's in the shade Devotion. It's so pretty. It's such a gorgeous color. Rituel de Fille. This is one of their lipsticks in the shade Oracle. Recently wore this to my brother's wedding. Okay, Charlotte Tilbury lip cheat in the shade Pillow Talk. KVD, who I recently heard is going out of business, and that makes me sad just because I feel like this shade is going with them. This is Lolita. As much as I have disdain and distaste for KVD herself, this color is special as I swatch it next to all of the other stuff that's this color. And here we have a lip pencil from Hindash. This is in the shade Hush. This is a great pencil. I like that he gave us a nice long pencil so you can really dive in and use it, but it's hard to store. Is a gorgeous lip pencil though. I don't know if it's gonna fit into this category. It might be too red. Um, the Charlotte Tilbury, no, I think it's too pink. It's got just a hair. If it had just a hair more brown, I think it would fit the brief, but it doesn't. So this is a no-go. Oracle is gorgeous and very much fits into this category. Devotion from NARS. Yeah, it's a little more brown, but it's got the right undertone. It's got that brownish pinkiness that we want in our raisin makeup. Bahama from NARS. When I swatched this, I thought it might be too cool toned, but looking at it against this swatch really does drive it home that yeah, this is a piece of raisin makeup. About face, yeah. I bought this because it was raisin. I was going to a wedding and I specifically wanted to wear this color. And it's glorious. Modesty from MAC. I wasn't sure if this was gonna have too much blue or be too pink. I don't think it is. I think it actually very much fits in. It's a member of the family. So there is that grouping. And we are well on our way to being finished. Oh no, we're not. We still have eyeliners. All right, let's discuss eyeliners because why not? Eyeliner is a lot of fun. And some of these are very raisin. Others I don't know about. We'll see as we go. Oh, Syrah. I wish I could understand these. This is La Baton Rouge in Diablique. I believe this is a brown, but I thought it might be a raisiny brown. And I don't think it, oh, maybe. Let's shear her out a little bit. You know what? We mix it in over here. I think it does. I think it has some of those raisin undertones, and that is going to make me want to use this, which is fantastic because I have had a really hard time getting along with these pencils. That's really interesting. This is from NYX. This is their Epic Smoke Liner in Brick Fire. Yeah. No. Nope. It does not fit. It's got too much red in it. A little too much yellow. It doesn't have this grounded, earthy grubbiness. Charlotte Tilbury. This is her double-ended liner in Mesmerizing Maroon. We're going to swatch both sides. I think only one side is going to fit what we need. This is my problem with this liner. The matte side is just, let me sharpen it, see if that doesn't help us get some glide out of it. Aside from the formula sucking, yeah, aside from the formula, I would say the matte side it's too purple. It's got too much blue in it. This is the other side. This is the creamier side that I will actually strive to use up and then just be done with the matte side because it doesn't work. I would say that this does fit into the brief. It's maybe got a hint more pink, but it does fit into the category that we're looking to explore here. This is another Syrah pencil. Okay, this is one of the smoky eye batons. I'm willing to bet that this is one of the lip pencils. And shade is Canon de Beauté. It's so pretty. I wish, and it does have, is it too purple? Looking at it in comparison to the Charlotte Tilbury, I think it's too purple. It does not fit into this category. Another Charlotte Tilbury, however, this product I absolutely adore and will replace when it is gone. This is the color Chameleon in the shade Bronze Garnet. And this is Raisin, gosh darn it. That rhymed. I meant it to rhyme because why not? Yeah. Bronze Garnet is it's raisin. It's a little deeper, but it very much is a raisin pencil. And I love this thing. It's one of my favorite pieces. I'll be interested to see how this swatches with the group. This is one of the Make Continuum eye gels in the shade Halo. And this is labeled a rose taupe. And it is cool and it's grungy and it's different. And if I look at that compared to that, like, yeah, this very much fits into this color family. This is from L'Oreal, Le Liner Signature in Violet Wool. I love violet and I love wool, but let's see how this pencil swatches. This is a good purple eyeliner. This is not a good purple eyeliner, but it is purple. It's not raisin, it's purple. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not raisin. Ooh, Charlotte Tilbury. This is her Pillow Talk eyeliner in, I believe, Pillow Talk. It came in a little Pillow Talk set that I bought. Yeah, I'm guessing it's Pillow Talk because it doesn't have. And this is creamy and really lovely. I would say that despite having a little bit more brown, this fits in. This fits a lot more than that L'Oreal purple liner. Yeah, is raisin. It checks the box. And the last one is going to be a curveball, man. This is gonna reveal some, I don't know. We'll see. So this is from JD Glow Cosmetics. This is one of their multi-chrome liners in the shade Shooketh. This is my second one of these, and I still love it. The I bought two of these when they first came out years ago. I had to declutter mine, so I bought it again. So because this, oh my goodness. Okay. Because this is a multi-chrome, it's going to appear different depending on how the light is hitting it. What I'm seeing is something that looks like the same shade as the Charlotte Tilbury. What you're seeing is purple. Let me see if I can find a mirror because I know that that will disrupt the light and you should be able to see it. There we go. So there is the full swatch. This very top one at the back. I'm going to say that Shooketh does fit in. And actually, while we're here and I have this Hourglass palette out, I want to swatch this one. It's called, is this Mood Exposure? Yeah. So this is Mood Exposure. This is what I consider to be a very pale, raisiny blush. But it's not. It's pink. Okay. Good to know. So we found a bunch. We'll go through all the Raisin makeup at the end and make decision. But all four of these, well, 3.5. This one is not what we need it to be. Is very not pretty. Okay, last handful of products. Here we have the last of it, folks. This is it. I have been planning this video for so long and it feels like it's gone by super fast. What we have here are eyeliners and single pot shadows. We'll do the eyeliners first and then do the shadows. The eyeliners we have here, I'm actually going to use my spatula to swatch these. So we have two here from ColourPop. We have Joyride and Charmer. And this is the Enigmatic Black Orb in Iron from Ritual Defeat. So Joyride is kind of red, but it still, oh, okay. It is not of this family, but it is gorgeous. It needs a little bit more Duraline. It's still kind of stiff, but I hadn't planned on using this. I just wanted to swatch it. It's gorgeous. This again is Joyride, which is also the name of one of my favorite contra dances. Charmer. We'll see if it can charm its way into this category. This one is definitely softer. I I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's got too much blue. I think this just has a little bit too much blue. Let's swatch Iron and see what we get. As much as I want it to, I don't know. I mean, it's really deep. It's really deep. And I think when we're talking about Raisin, we're talking about desaturation and we're talking about, this beigey brown undertone. And I just don't see that here. Let's really. Now, even really, really sheared out, it's too red. It's too red. Oh, I wanted this to be a Raisin piece so much, but that's okay. I still love it. I still love it. I still love you. You can stay just over there. Okay, last four. We have Victoria Beckham Tea Rose. We have Phytosurgeon's Defiant Dahlia. Amber from Flower Beauty in their Chrome Crush pots. And I grabbed Ray from Hourglass because it's beautiful. And if anything is going to fit into this, it will. So let's do Victoria Beckham Beauty first. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous product. But is it Raisin? I don't think it is. I don't know. I'm looking in the monitor, and the monitor is telling me that those colors are congruous, but my eyes are seeing all of this gold and copper shimmer that really detracts from it being part of this desaturated color family. I am the ruler of the land here. I'm gonna say that this is not Raisin. Sorry, Victoria. Phytosurgeon's Defiant Dahlia. I don't wear this very often. I have another eyeshadow from this in this formula that I do love. Thoughts? What do we think here? Let me know what you think down below, okay? Because I want your opinions. I want to know what you're thinking about what you're seeing. I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say it's a little bronze, but bronze can easily slide into this. Bronze can easily slide into Raisin, especially when it's got a purple undertone the way this one does. Flower Beauty. what are these called? The Chrome Crush Pressed Pigments. This is in the shade Amber. I didn't know if this would, and I don't think it does. Although it is, yeah, it's much too red. Like compared to Tea Rose is cooler, and if it didn't have the gold flake that it does, the gold pigment, I would say it works. I don't think Amber would ever work in this category. It's just, it's too red, it's too pink. And then our last one from Hourglass. This is, excuse you. This is the Scattered Lights in the shade Ray. Yes. I say that's Raisin. I say it's got that cool tone, it's got the desaturation, it's got a little bit of that purpley brown base to it, and it doesn't have a whole lot of orange in it. Yep, I'm gonna say this is Raisin. And that puts an end to this hunt. Let's go through this and figure out how many of the products I pulled fit into this category. I'm going to clean my arm off. All right, I don't remember how many products I pulled, so I'm going to count how many are not Raisin and we'll get a total. So we have 17 that are not Raisin. So over here, we've got the not Raisins. And then over here, we have, oh, and I forgot about these. So that makes it 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, because, but we only swatched 3 of these. We didn't, no, 2 of them. We didn't swatch 2 of them. No, that's not true. We swatched Plum. We did not swatch Plum, Terracotta, or the Bronzer. We swatched Wine, Sunburnt, and Mauve. So that's 3. And then we've got these 3 that are Raisin. So that takes this total up to 20. Okay, well, we'll just have to remember 20. Rachel, editing, make sure that numbers add up right. So 1, 2, 3. So I pulled a total of 48 products. 28 of them ended up falling into this dingy, dusky, browny, beigey, purple family, color family. Does that say anything about my makeup collection other than like, I love this color? Not really. But is it fun to find a color and then go in to your collection and pull everything that might fit into that? It is. It's so much fun, and it gets your fingers, got my fingers in my makeup. And I was reminded of a few things that I'd forgotten, like these newer Salt New York blushes, and surprised. Like this eyeliner, I did not expect to fall into this category because it is a multi-chrome, but it does, and that is delightful. I mean, we're going to go through my collection. I just did a declutter. We're not going to go through my entire collection. I've already pulled some things out that fit into this category, but I haven't gone through my single pan makeup yet. So I figured we could do that together. I have here a palette of blushes. I have my Natasha Denona. This used to be the Lila palette. Now it's an amalgamation of other Natasha Denona 5 pans. We have my ColourPop It's a Mood. These are my babies. I love these eyeshadows. Just opening this and looking at it makes me happy. I did put up a real short of this really nice and close up. These are some new products to me from Sydney Grace, but these 3 fit into that Raisin category. So let me show you what I mean when I say Raisin, because there is one product that started it all. This is empty. This is what we're going to build into, because we're not focusing on building a concise collection. I just want to pull out everything that fits into the Raisin category, and then we'll have a little swatch party once everything gets sorted. This is the tone that we're looking for. And I'm going to leave that swatch there so we have it to compare. I guess let's do these pre-made palettes first. Let's talk about these, and then we'll go into all of my singles. Let me try and move these off camera. I'm not sure I have a whole lot in this palette that really fits, with the exception of these two shadows. Possibly this. I think that's got too much pinky gold in it. In my eye, from where I'm sitting, let me bump up my light a little bit and see if that doesn't help. Oh yeah, that's much better. So in my opinion, this is just too copper. It's too orange. It doesn't have enough beige to really fit into the category that we're going for. I don't really use glitters, even this one. It might fit, but I just don't feel like including it. I just don't. Let's look at this guy. Yeah, that is peach. That is peach, and I believe this is going to be too purple. It's purple, it's also a little dried out. I might need to do some decluttering of this palette too. I did recently swatch it, and some of the mattes are a little dry. But yeah, I don't think there's anything in here that we can really include in this Raisin search. So I'm going to close this up and put her away. I forgot that we also have my Cleona shadows to look at. And then it just kind of went off. Some of the mattes got really dry and hard to work with. That very much reads Raisin to me. It's got the right undertone. It's got the right mix of colors. It's not too gold. It's not too pink. Go ahead and pop this guy out. This shadow, I so desperately want more out of. I want to get the depth that this shadow really shows, but I am including it in the Raisin family. You know what? I'm not gonna include it because it's too pink. It just brings too much pink to the party, and that is not what we're looking for. We're looking for those grungy, beigey, purpley browns. And honestly, I don't see any more of them in here. That one, yeah, that one I think we can include. That matte. Excuse you. But I think that will do it for this palette too. All right, so we've got two shadows. Hey, it's a start. Let's open this guy. I love these shadows. I love them so much. They're so pretty. And they do things to my brain. So the one that jumps out at me is this one, which is Rose Line. These are so crushy and delicate. You don't, oh. So from where I'm sitting, it's got that raisin undertone, and then when the light shifts, it turns purple. So we are going to include this little baby in the palette. And let's look at Torch. No, Torch is going to be too orangey pink, I think. Yeah, it just doesn't have the color that we want it to have. See if there's anything else here. That's abrasion. Oh my God, it's beautiful, but it's not what we're looking for. That is purpley purple. That is a purple purple. So not a whole lot of raisin in here, but that's okay. I've got a lot of raisin in other parts of my collection. Let's go through here. These are blushes, but some of them, like this one, I do feel fit this brief. Maybe not. I think it's too pink. I think it's got too much pink in it. And if that one has too much pink, then this one is definitely going to have more pink. Yeah, it just doesn't have the grunginess that I want it to have. I don't know. We'll pull this out and see how we like it compared to the others. So we're checking this bronzer. No. No, it doesn't have the same undertone. And it can have a similar undertone without having similar depth. I know there are some things in here. These are new from Sydney Grace. I believe they just did a, what's the word? They did a clearance sale where they threw a handful of these really beautiful bronzers and highlights and a couple of eyeshadows into a surprise box. That's it. A mystery box. That's the word I was looking for, mystery box. And this is a highlighter, but that's Raisin. It's a little toned down. This is called Pampered and Perfect. And this is 7 grams of product. It's ginormous. And it's really bloody pretty. I think this is one that I might separate into smaller pans because it is so crushy. It's got this very easy to manipulate formula. It's not a matte, so it doesn't have a whole lot of dryness to the formula. This is going to repress really easily. So what I might do is take this and separate it into several pans so that I don't have this gigantic pan of product in my collection. But it does very much fit into the raisin category. This may be a little bit too cool toned. This is Start Somewhere. And it reminds me in a lot of ways of Troops by Sydney Grace, which I just decluttered. But this has more purple to it. It's also got that really beautiful. Do you see what I mean about the tones? So this has that beige, but it's also got a lot of purple. So I don't think I can include it in the raisin. You know what? I'm going to include it and we'll do a swatch off and I'll figure it out. I want to include it because it's one of those shadows that plays with my head. And I love that. Let's do a quick swatchy swatch of this matte. I think again this is going to be a little too purple. Let me wipe my fingers off. I think it works. I think it fits the brief for now. We may do some culling near the we'll do some culling at the end. Okay. This palette I just want to stick all of my fingers into. I love this palette so much. It just makes me so ridiculously happy. I'm going to go and pull shadows that I know fit the brief and we'll swatch and discuss. So these are the shadows that I have pulled from my palette of singles. And then these are the shadows that I just pulled from either Natasha Denona or, you know, my other singles palettes. So these we've already swatched and we know what they look like. Let me re-swatch our reference. That way we have baseline for comparison. Oh, this is the one that's standing out to me. I don't remember where this came from, but when I recently swatched it in my declutter, my brain was kind of blown. I didn't see it because it was so enveloped in the rest of my collection. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm gonna say it goes because it's my game, my rules. I don't, again, this says CP on it, so I'm willing to bet it came from a ColourPop palette. This is a what I call a bronzy raisin. It's got the brown, it's got the purple, it's got the beige undertones, but it's got more depth. This is a matte. It's really smooth, and I actually like that it's a very softly pigmented matte. Mm-hmm. It's a little gray, but that's what we want. We want that desaturation at all levels of raisin. This is a topper that I just pulled out of one of the Auric Glow Lusts. I just depotted a couple of those. And I was hoping it would have more base color. It doesn't. It's a beautiful topper, and I might want to include it in the palette just for fun. But I don't believe it fits the raisin toned brief that we are trying to fulfill here. ColourPop Miser. This is a really fun shadow, but it doesn't quite fulfill what I need it to fulfill. It's got too much pink and too much peach. Yeah, so that will go back in. Mr. Sandman, also from ColourPop. Pretty. I feel like this one does fill the brief. It's got the purple, it's got that grunginess. It's got a really pretty blue shift. I'm not sure if you can. Yep, there you go. Miser is in and or no, Miser is out, Mr. Sandman is in. Let's talk Sin. This is from JD Glow. I pulled this on a lark. It's one of those shadows that I really like, but I often forget about. It is very bright. It does have a purple base, but it's got the purple is too blue toned, and the green shift just annihilates any raisin qualities it may have. Let's talk about this big old pan here. This is from Flower Beauty. It's one of the pans that I depotted from a Jungle Lights palette. Pretty. And it's got raisininess to it. I knew it did. When we compare these two, this is just a very shiny version of it, and that's why I like this eyeshadow. This is ColourPop Dragonfly. This is an older shadow. I've had this for a while. I've stuck things in it by accident. This is it's almost a blackened raisin, but it is raisin. I never get tired of smearing this color all over my arm. Okay, some of these are from Kaja, so let's try and figure out which ones those are. And that is not, that probably is. This is from Copacetic. Let's get this glitter. Look at that. It's lavender. I don't think it's raisin. It's got a lot of lavender. Oh, but how pretty would that be in this palette? It doesn't have raisin, but it supports raisin. It's a supporting player, much like our other topper here. Excuse you. Okay. This is another OG raisin eyeshadow. I have no idea where it came from, but it's raisin. Okay, another Kaja single. I feel like some of these, they're almost glass-like, and you have to kind of dig into them to really get the color payoff. But look at how grungy and like just perfectly raisin those are. That is an eye look right there, those three. I'm calling this one. Man, Kaja has got the market cornered when it comes to raisiny eyeshadows. This is Juno Moon from, who is this from? Nabla. I think this might mean it's purple, but it's definitely got those undertones. It's got the right undertones. And then this lovely, shiny, purpley iridescent. No, I'm gonna compare that one to Miser and just say it's a little too peach and it's a little too blue. I'm sorry, my love. That doesn't mean we don't love you. Cleona, this is one of their circle shadows in Timber. I mean, I can't. I can't. It's gotta stay. So let me get these arranged in a palette. And then I think we're gonna go through my other palettes and look for Raisin. So there we are so far. That is all the singles I've pulled out. And let's go through the rest of it. I'm gonna call this, I'm gonna put this one in because it does have that beigey undertone with some of the brown. Yeah, I like it. It works. Okay. These are all of my palettes. And I made sure to pull just about everything. I left one behind, and that's fine because I know what's in there. So the ones that immediately jump to hand when I want to pull Raisin makeup are these two. Here we have Pat McGrath Utopian Dreams. If this palette does not scream Raisin, I don't know what does. I'm looking at it. I've got at least 3 shadows in here. So we've got this matte. I do like her matte formula. It's very rich. It's very deep. That is a deep shadow, but it is still Raisin. It is very Raisin. Let's talk about this because this may be one of those light desaturated raisins. I don't know. We could call that. We could include that one. You can sit with us. This lovely, oh, mucky, bronzy gorgeousness. I love this palette. This palette was a 40th birthday gift from a friend, and I will think of her every time I open it and use it. And this is the one that I immediately had in mind when I opened this palette, was this oil slick, almost looks like one of the Cleona shadows. Almost looks like Forge without the black base. Yes, mama. I love it. So Utopian Dreams does have a fair amount of Raisin in it. Let's talk some NARS. This is the Extreme Effects palette. I was watching Tom and Kaki talk about NARS the other day. They were doing a critical sass. And they mentioned that like NARS doesn't have any permanent eyeshadows and eyeshadow palettes, and it's really annoying. I very much agree with that sentiment. I wish that NARS had a basic range of palettes that were permanent instead of constantly doing these one-offs that you then can't get afterwards. I'm not going to not use a palette on camera because you can't get it, because that's not the point. The point is that we're using and going through our own collections to look for color stories that really grab us. And hopefully we have that in our makeup collection already, so you don't have to go out and buy it. You just have to find your signature color, the color that really grabs you and draws you in. As far as raisins go, like there's a handful in this palette. I don't know if we're gonna include this purple. My table is shaking. That purple, and now we've got this mucky bronze. That bronze for certain. Let's try this purple matte. I would say yes, it's desaturated enough that it can be part of the family. And then we've got this one up here. I think this is a really good example of the range that we can get when we isolate a color and then take it through all of its iterations. It can be a cream, it can be a really densely packed matte, it can be a very thinly desaturated matte. You've got several shimmers here that are all different and have different shifts, but they all fit into this grubby, browny, beigey, purple category. And this really excites me. Let's look at Etherealize, because there are some in here that I know are going to fit the brief. So we've got this brown over here that's almost a taupe. Yeah, it's that bronzy purple again. It's maybe a little more gold toned, but that's okay. Let's try this top corner. That is a raisin with a lot of gray. It's got some more gray and more brown in it than our reference color, but I think it might be a little bit of an outlier, but I think it does fit into the family. It fits into this color that we're searching for. No, I don't think that one does. It's too taupe. It's got more taupe in it than anything else. This is a little Pat McGrath 5 pan, and I've used this. I love this palette. I don't love this matte though. It's really dark, and her mattes can be hard to work with, but it's the right color. I also love this bronze down here. It's user friendly. For me, it is just a utilitarian bronze shade that lives in my Makeup Mind Palace. All right. I don't think I have that many more to swatch, so I'm just gonna keep going up my arm. There is a matte in this palette that I want to swatch. It fits. I mean, this is Pat McGrath's OG color. If you look at all of her palettes, they have something similar to this. It is a very user-friendly color. It's a little warmer to start a look with. Okay, I have two Rowan palettes. The Mood Forever. Look how much love this palette's gotten. I've got Pan, I've got Great Big Dips. This is the one that comes to mind. I'm gonna say it's too copper. It's got too much red. It doesn't have that balance. So we're gonna say this one does not fit into that raisin category that we're looking for. This one I don't think so. This is mostly terracottas, but it's a gorgeous palette. This is the Eyes on Me quad. And I love it, but I don't think it's got anything raisin in it. And the last one I have to look at is this Makeup Revolution palette. It's a gorgeous purple. It's got the pinkiness, but it doesn't have that dingy quality that I want my raisin makeup to have. And those are all of my palettes. I think that's where we're going to stop today's video. And here we have our raisiny palette. I think it's gorgeous. I really do. Let's hope I have enough space for all of these swatches on my arm. Okay, there we are. That is an armful of raisiny eyeshadow swatches. Oh my goodness. They're so satisfying. They just, the way they glow, but they all have so many similarities, but so many differences. We've got everything from like browns to deeper purples to sheer tones. This one's got some silvery lavender to it. I don't know if it necessarily fits the brief of Raisin, but I don't care. I love it. These peachier, bronzier tones, I can't wait to play with this palette. I may end up adding in some other colors. I may end up adding in some shiny colors. I may end up putting JD Glow Sin back in here. But for right now, this makes me happy. I hope you all enjoyed this exploration of Raisin. It's a color that I love. It's something this has been on my mind to do for a long time, and I'm glad I finally got to sit down and do it. I hope you all are taking care of yourselves so you can take care of each other, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye, friends.